Hola. The first battle of Puebla. Yay! 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 Oh yeah! The second battle of Puebla. Not so good. Not so good. Like and subscribe anyways. The first battle of Puebla. Yeah! Yeah!
How's it? Hang loose. Welcome to Mongoose Max Hawaii, the channel. Hello, today is Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Mayo. It's rainy over here. There's 10 to 14 foot waves. You can see this thing. This is the surf report. If I showed you the waves out there, it just looks like choppy. They're not big. It's just choppy storm surf. It doesn't look like anything. But it is Cinco de Mayo, and here's something interesting. My brother came in from Texas. I mean, unannounced. So it's for Mother's Day, and his birthday was a couple days ago, is what I mentioned. He just walked in the door. So this is my younger brother compared to my other older brother. But he just walked in the door. I'm sitting there eating dinner with my mom, and it's like, ooh. So my sister and him had a plan, and it was a surprise, and it was like, oh my God, it was kind of strange. So I was like, I'm glad to see him. I was just like, hey. And it is Cinco de Mayo, so I thought I'd say something about Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so everyone's like, Cinco de Mayo, okay, yo quiero Taco Bell, Margueritas, party. And I used to always think, hey, I guess it's like 4th of July for Mexico. It's not. It's not Mexican Independence Day, which is September 16th. September 16th is Mexican Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo. What is the real story? Okay, Mongoose Max history time. This is interesting because you kind of almost want to get this right. It's just that, what? The 5th of May, it's more popular in the United States than it is in Mexico, even though it's celebrated in Mexico. It's celebrated as Cinco de Mayo, Batalla de Puebla. And it started in 1861, where Mexicans stopped paying the French Empire money, you know, like oh, you owe us money because we're the empire over you, colonialism, imperialism. So they just stopped paying the French government. So Napoleon III sent in troops, a mass of French troops, and went and attacked Mexico. In 1862, on May the Cinco, a small ragtag little group of Mexicanos, they battled this big giant French army, and they won at the Puebla. And it was like a great victory, and General Zaragoza was the general, and everything was great. It was like they beat the French. So, I mean, it's like one of those amazing underdog stories. Wow. And a couple months later, General Zaragoza died of tuberculosis or something like that. Yeah. And then they went, the French Napoleon III with the French army came back reinforced. And on the second Battle of Puebla, they smashed them and occupied Mexico City. And that happened for another year. They were under the Empire of Mexico, and they elected some guy emperor. So that's the story of Cinco de Mayo. It's the first Battle of Puebla. Don't look at the second Battle of Puebla, because it just reversed everything and they got smashed. Okay, speaking of invasion battles, around the steps of the Supreme Court, they have forgot to do this thing like this. Oopsie, like this. They around the steps of the Supreme Court building in Washington D.C., there are police barricades because all over the country, giant crowds, right? My body, my right. See, it's based on the privacy rights. That's how they built it. You can't invade the privacy of my body with your laws. You can't legalize whether I choose this medical procedure or not. And that's how they got it on the books. And it's been reaffirmed for 50 years. And somebody wants to use it as a political weaponry for the elections. I don't know what else is going on. That's about it. Hahimako. So let's look at the little bit of the. Oh, in Hawaii, nothing much. They're waiting for relief for COVID-19. It's very, very slow, but the virus is very, very fast, and this is not good. If you look at here, I should show you the other one. Here it is, the story, right? Okay, it's gonna. Well, I mean, just use your head, be akamai, and take your precautions or not. Because don't rely on government to make laws to make you wear a mask. I'm getting my second booster coming up, man. I don't want to miss that date. But here it is, the BA.2, right? BA.2 is the one that's spreading around. And then it has more variants. This is the variant on the Omicron variant. So BA, and then this BA.2. That's the one that's spreading around. But there was two more variants, and they started off in South Africa, or the first detected, because they got lots and lots of labs down there. So they detected it down there, and then they detected it in New York, and now it's confirmed in Hawaii. That's right. It's BA.2.12 and BA.2.121. So apparently the third, fourth, BA.2.12.1, apparently that's my IP address. So I have to go and delete a lot of my spam now. This is terrible.
I need a weapon.
I need a new encoder. My encoding overload happened again. Okay, so anyways, this guy was like, guy caught the home run ball, so he gave it to the little kid. It was like the super fan little kid, and so he gave it to the kid. He was crying and everything, and it was like big heartwarming. I'm doing the heartwarming story. Shut the hell up. Cinco de Mayo. So anyways, it was turned into this big, huge story. Everyone forgot about Mexico. What about General Gonzaga? So let's see if I can transition to over here. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Uh-oh. One more time. So the first thing we did was, I'm trying to retrace my steps. It's Warrior refocused, yay! Volleyball. The UH volleyball is going good. They're hitting the ball, and they're making it into the semifinals. So they're winning. they have a possibility. So they're doing really well at the moment. And then this guy jumped over a wave. And then, oh no! Oh, I think we got a leak. The integrity has hit the iceberg of Roe versus Wade. The integrity of the Supreme Court is going down. Yeah, it sure is. Okay, so I looked in here and I saw this one. It was, hospital that deserves state funding. But over here, someone has this thing about atomic bombs. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Carl Zimmerman reminded us that in the hands of the U.S. are not clean when it comes to war. Cite article April 29th. I recently visited the U.S.'s Arizona Memorial at Pearl Harbor. It was extremely moving. So many young dedicated lives lost. Dreams snuffed out in an instant. Families devastated. But as I searched hard for recognition of the same trauma caused by the U.S. to the citizens of Japan in August 1940, I found nothing. Finally, in the U.S. National Park brochure, I spotted a mention of, quote, atomic bombings, and bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, unquote. Both without recognition that these were carried out by the United States. Where is the U.S. credibility for creating peace in the world if we do not recognize a role in the trauma and devastation of war? Elizabeth Grant, Eugene, Oregon. Thank you, Eugene, for a wonderful, wonderful side note of atomic bombs. Yeah. Well, you got to look at it in the context of history, for real, Elizabeth. I don't know how old you are or whatever. I'm not really pointing you. I'm just saying history is a weird thing. You got to go back into the time frame and what was happening, too, the context. And at the time, there was a huge, extensive Pacific theater war. I mean, it was really just extensive. We went out with planes and bombed Tokyo, but it didn't have that much effect. It didn't have too many bombs off or that. But the war was raging and there was lots of atrocities and it was going like nowhere, and it was like major casualties, and what they were doing was going gigantic major casualties, or what they really will take notice of to stop the war. Because even though they had the Emperor Hirohito, it was like, yeah, do it, and they just do anything the Emperor says because he was like godlike. But it was really run by the generals. Note to self, right? History. And it was really bad. It was really bad. So they had to figure, I mean, these were warriors. These were like samurais. What do you think the kamikazes were? They were like samurais in the plains, you know? And so when that happened, they actually bombed one of the cities. They bombed one city. And it was on the part of the Japanese, let's say, government, Imperial Japan. They still hesitated. It was not good enough, not bad enough. And then they bombed the second city, and then they went, oh, surrender already. Forget it. I don't know what that is, but it's coming. So they had to do this extraordinary weapon twice, not just once, twice for them to surrender. It's a grueling thing because those were citizens in a city. Yeah, so, but when they went like this, but the real thing to note here is that's the start of the atomic age. Now, which is nuclear age. Now, an ICBM, like the kind Korea, if there's one of those warheads in one of those missiles, one of those warheads, like 1,000 times stronger than Hiroshima or Nagasaki. So the thing is, nuclear deterrent. That is where your focus should be, because those people are ghosts. And we could be celebrating Cinco de Mayo, but everyone forgot. What happened to General Gonzalo? Hey, the first Battle of Puebla. That's what it's all about. Oh, no. Write an article about nuclear war. Anyways, okay, that's it. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh look. It's all rainy. That's okay. Storm surf, not so much. More like rain. Might be sunny for Mother's Day. It'll be Happy Mother's Day pretty soon. Aloha all. Aloha, go away now.